Welcome into Mornings on Main Street, Southern Middle Tennessee. It's the show where we take a look at Giles, Lawrence, and Maury counties from the pages of your local newspapers. I'm Scott Stewart, publisher of the Lawrence County Advocate, Pulaski Citizen, and Main Street Maury. We have to start this week with a big shout out to the Loretto Lady Mustangs, the volleyball team, for claiming the TSSAA Class A Volleyball State Championship last week. Congratulations to those guys. Also, a shout out to Summertown, who came up just one game short of playing Loretto in that championship game. Great season for both those teams, and congratulations to the Lady Mustangs for your state championship. Now we all turn our collective attentions to the end of football regular season that's coming up this week and the beginning of the playoffs. Good luck to all our Southern Middle Tennessee teams who are vying for playoff spots this Friday and Thursday and Friday. A lot of teams playing on Thursday because it's the end of October. We also now turn our attentions to Halloween, which is also Thursday, and many celebrations of Veterans Day and Thanksgiving, and we got Christmas coming up. We got all kinds of stuff coming up, and we love that kind of time of year here at your local newspapers, your community newspapers, because that's when the community gets out and gets together, and we enjoy a lot of good times together. So buckle up, everybody. It's going to be a wild ride all the way up until Christmas, so we just get ready. Hey, and don't miss anything by getting a subscription to the Pulaski Citizen, the Lawrence County Advocate, and Main Street Maury, your local newspapers. Do so by going to mainstreetmediatn.com. That's mainstreetmediatn.com. It's everything you need to know right there to get your subscription. All right, let's get this week's wrap started with the Lawrence County Advocate. Well, you heard me talk about the Loretto Lady Mustangs State Championship in that opening segment. Let me just say that winning a state championship is not something that you just do every year. Now, Loretto has had their share of success in a couple of different sports recently and winning state championships. But as far as we're concerned at the Lawrence County Advocate, you just can't celebrate a state championship enough. So you'll find the state champion Lady Mustangs at the top of the front page this week. We're going to celebrate them there. Also, inside, you'll find just pretty much every step they made in the state tournament, along with the games played by Summertown in the state tournament, as well as a page full of celebration just for those guys. So we got that on the inside. Also, on A1, though, is the story of a pedestrian that was killed in a hit and run near Loretto over the weekend. The county commission has set new commercial solid waste fees. Etheridge leaders are discussing new sidewalk grants. The Lawrence County Fire and Rescue has celebrated their 10th anniversary of their emergency medical response program, and Will Walker has announced his candidacy for the open District 9 school board seat. Inside, Lawrenceburg Heritage Bank and Trust has announced that Lisa Moore is their new bank manager. STRHS Wound Center will host Free Diabetic Education Day, November 7th. We've got the November Senior Center schedule, and our friend Trey Donovan is back with a playlist to haunt the ear just in time for Halloween. Anybody wanted to send in your recipes for the annual recipes edition of the Advocate, that deadline has been extended to November 2nd, and today, Thursday, by 4 p.m. is the deadline to honor your favorite veteran in the Advocate. And as always, Lawrence County Advocate has community announcements, government notices, auctions and estate sales, puzzles, and the local church directory. In sports, we've talked about volleyball, but we also got football. All three Lawrence County football teams tasted victory last week as Summertown and Loretto continue to fight for their playoff spots. On Halloween night, that's right, Thursday night, Halloween night, Loretto hosts Mount Pleasant and Summertown hosts East Hickman in matchups of 4 of the 5 teams that are battling for the same 4 playoff spots. The celebration of Loretto's state championship and Summertown's experience in the state tournament continues in that whole section that I was telling you about. It highlights all of their matches with photos and a page celebrating both teams' achievements. There you have it. That's the Lawrence County Advocate wrap for this week. We'll be right back after this.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
So, you want to be a part of the Busy Bee team, huh? Well, how do you see yourself fitting into the organization? Oh, I get it. You want to be a weather bee.
So Busy Bee is a very close-knit family. We fight just like every family does. We have arguments, but we always come out with a solution to the problems. We don't just fight about what we want, we fight about what customers need. We want to make sure that every customer we go to is more than satisfied. And that doesn't just start whenever we show up at their door, that starts when we show up every day at work. We want to make sure that we are serving our customers to the best of our ability.
The Pulaski Citizen Wrap starts this week with Citizen Spotlight Asha Moody, a very talented young lady. She's at the top spot on the front and center of the front page, and find out more about Asha inside this week's edition. Also on the front page this week, a Minor Hill man accused of killing his girlfriend earlier this month was in court last week. Find out what happened in court there on A1. Also on the front, we've got a friendly reminder to fall back. Move those clocks back this weekend. And the Pulaski Board of Mayor and Aldermen handled its business last week. We've got all that information on the front page. The front page also has some photos from the growing tree spooks that came around. And by the way, they made their way around the square last Friday. And you can see that on the Pulaski Citizen Facebook page. We live streamed it. The little spooks came by and trick-or-treat, held their bags out. So come on, if you want to see it in action, check out the Facebook page. Also, if you want to see some photos, we got them right there on the front page. Finally, Discover Giles arrives with your subscription this week. The Guide to Giles County is a cooperative effort between the Pulaski Citizen and the Giles County Chamber of Commerce each year, and you get a copy mailed to you with your subscription, which is a whole nother reason to get a subscription to the Pulaski Citizen. Quick note on that, however, due to what it takes to get those magazines inside your newspapers, the paper's going to be 1 day late this week. So you subscribers will get your papers a day late, but it'll be totally worth the wait. Inside this week's edition, you'll find the annual Halloween coloring contest winners. Car crashed into JJ's Tavern up on 31 North on October 20th, hurt 7 people. Next Tuesday is Election Day, and we've got sample ballots, so you will have a chance to figure out what's on the ballot at your polling place. Johnny Phelps Giles Pass gives us part 1 this week of the Giles County Courthouses Then and Now. Sinatra, I love that name, is our GCHA Pet of the Week, Pet Corner Pet of the Week. Margaret Campbell wraps up the Croctober celebration with holiday snacks and treats that you can make up in your crock pot. And as always, Pulaski Citizen has obituary notices, court docket, property transfers, government public notices, backward glances, the weather forecast with our friends over at Tennessee Valley Weather, funny games, church directory, community briefs, and church briefs, so much more. And our guy Wade Neely is up next with all the latest in Pulaski Citizen sports.
What's up, folks? Wade Neely here, sports editor at the Pulaski Citizen. Time now for a look at what's in print and online for the October 30th edition of the Pulaski Citizen sports page. We have football, some good, a lot bad, though, as 2 of our 3 teams fell last Friday in high-powered showdowns. And we opened with Giles County. You heard it on Pulaski Citizen Live as 1A royalty came to the Brickyard and put a whooping on the Bobcats as McKenzie strolls right in and picks up a 49-14 victory. Giles County was really out of it after a quality first quarter. Teams, going back and forth, game kind of, entertaining to start, but then in the second quarter, things got off in a bad way for GCHS as McKenzie scores early in the quarter, scores often in the quarter, and by the end of the first half, it was 27-0, and GCHS was kind of out of the game at that point. Kind of rallied late in the game, but never was able to really fully claw back in it. So the Bobcats, that is a non-region loss. GCHS is still undefeated in region play, however. So I gave you the bad news. The good news is they're still undefeated in region play, and they will still travel to to Sequatchie County on Friday as they take on the Indians in a rematch of last year's region championship game. Two undefeated squads will do battle over in East Tennessee. And again, we'll have your broadcast as well on Pulaski Citizen Live. Should be a fun one. It was a rough night in terms of stats for GCHS, but it was a really rough night in terms of injuries as Kareem Bryant with a very serious injury in the second quarter. And they also lost Aiden Jones. He was inactive. If they get those guys back, it could be a really fun night for GCHS, but they have their work cut out for them going on the road. We mentioned one loss there. Another loss as on our sister channel, PCL Richland. The Raiders drop a second straight, but they're still alive. Not only are they still alive, they can still win Region 5A, and they'll look to do so Friday night when they welcome Moore County to Wayne Hobbs Memorial Stadium. As for last week, nothing kind of went right for the Richland Raiders. Head coach Nick Patterson saying that the mistakes kind of just caught up with Richland as they had 5 drives inside of plus territory and only came away with 1 touchdown. So kind of their own worst enemy in that showdown versus Eagleville, who had been playing well. We saw Blaine Woodard, decent night passing, completing over 70% of his passes, but he did have an interception on plus territory, and Richland never really got going. So I mentioned all that to say, though, that the Raiders still have everything and then some to play for as they can take the region championship Friday night versus visiting Moore County. Richland could fall as far as 4th in terms of your region standings. They could also finish high as 1st. So it'll be a fun one when those two teams get it on Friday. Meanwhile, south of the border, the Ardmore Tigers, don't look now, folks, but Ardmore has picked itself up off the mat in a big, big way as they got off to a great start to begin the year, suffered a couple of tough losses, back-to-back weeks to Fairview at Russellville, but the Tigers have now rattled off 3 straight, and including a win 27-13 last Friday versus visiting West Point. What that means is that Ardmore is rolling, but what that really means is that the Tigers have already sewed up a berth in the Class 5A state playoffs down in Alabama. So they will have a chance to improve their standings in next week's game. They still have 2 weeks left in the regular season, and the Tigers are back in the playoff hunt, or back in the playoffs after a 2-year hiatus. Head coach Jonathan Snyder has got them rolling. So make sure you check that out. Shout out to our good friend Danielle Hargrove, who always takes care of us in terms of our Ardmore coverage. As always, words from our good friend Larry Woody. And if you scroll down deep enough on the web, or if you look on the back page in print, you can check out the Fearless Forecasters, where each and every week you can try and pick perfect and win a cash prize. Our jackpot's up to $800, and all you got to do is go perfect. But even if you don't go perfect, we still got you covered. You can win a backpack cooler courtesy this week of our friends at Carden Distributing. So make sure you check that out in print, or if you missed any of it, online at PulaskiCitizen.com. Wade Neely saying so long for now.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily, as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
So, you want to be a part of the Busy Bee team, huh? Well, how do you see yourself fitting into the organization? Oh, I get it. You want to be a weather bee.
So Busy Bee is a very close-knit family. We fight just like every family does. We have arguments, but we always come out with a solution to the problems. We don't just fight about what we want, we fight about what customers need. We want to make sure that every customer we go to is more than satisfied. And that doesn't just start whenever we show up at their door. That starts when we show up every day at work. We want to make sure that we are serving our customers to the best of our ability.
Hello, Maury County. I'm your dedicated Columbia reporter, Andrew Pearson, and this is the wrap for the week of October 30th. On the front page, Columbia dedicates a playground to deceased City Councilman Ken Wiles in Woodland Park. Columbia's ex-fire chief Ty Cobb files a federal suit against the city while a civil service hearing is still pending. Cobb claims to have blown the whistle on a dangerous vigilante whom the city refused to investigate, while the city claims to have fired Cobb from spreading conspiracies and offering to pay for favorable press coverage. Former Attorney General and Santa Fe resident Bill Leach was honored in a ceremony in Dixon on Thursday. Leach was an advocate for the people of Tennessee and participated in the famous secret inauguration of Governor Lamar Alexander in 1979. After his time in the capital, he returned to practicing law privately in Columbia. The Maury County Commission agreed to purchase 7 tornado sirens for 3 remote parks, Yanali, Chickasaw Trace, and Maury County Park, and for 4 rural communities, Culleoka, Hampshire, Santa Fe, and Mount Pleasant. And the City of Columbia hosted a forum on when and how to allow short-term rentals within its limits. The forum attracted a good variety of people who proposed imaginative solutions. On the next page, Spring Hill Police responded to an argument at Target that ended with 1 shot fired, though no one was hurt. Columbia's Main Street Association announces that the Christmas festivities will be split between December 6th, the tree lighting, and the Christmas parade on the 7th. Spring Hill Police found a missing woman alive with her boyfriend, against whom she had a protection order. Spring Hill High will throw a Veterans Day program with its JROTC students. Mount Pleasant and Columbia have teamed up to save 400,000 gallons of water each day by finding and fixing leaks in the system. And retired Air Force Colonel Thomas Matascella will speak on Veterans Day at First United Methodist of Columbia. That's all for news in Maury County this week. Let's go to Maurice Patton for sports.
Hey, I'm Maurice Patton, sports editor at Main Street Maury. This week's print edition, our October 30th edition. In the sports section, we've got coverage of Columbia Central's 3rd straight victory as the Lions went on the road and downed Lawson 45-14. Coverage right here, as well as we went out and saw a little junior varsity football last week. Battle Creek, which is starting up its program because it's starting up at school, has played a junior varsity schedule all year, and they hosted Columbia Central in a pink out matchup. We've got coverage of that as well in this week's print edition. Also, we've got Summit's stunning win over Nolensville last week in high school football, as well as a tough loss for Independence when Brentwood came to town. And, Mount Pleasant snapped a skid. Columbia Academy picked up another region win, and Spring Hill fell on the road at Tullahoma. Coverage of all of those high school matchups from last week. We got a little junior college soccer as Columbia State was taking part in the TCCAA. There we go. Tennessee Community College Athletic Association postseason tournament last week. See how the Lady Chargers came out. We've got coverage there. Also, a little cross-country news and our weekly Red Zone Rundown package, as we've got stats, standings, schedules, and the weekly Tennessee Sports Writers Association statewide poll for all 9 classes. So, we've got everything sports-related in and around Maury County in this week's print edition of Main Street Maury. At the website, mainstreetmaury.com, you can visit there for upcoming high school football coverage as we close out the regular season, week 11 this week. Couple of Thursday night games, bunch of Friday night games. We'll have all of that on the website over the weekend and in print in next week's Main Street Maury. So be sure and check that out, as well as playoff matchups coming out of this weekend's final regular season contest. A little more cross-country coverage as well as some runners start punching their tickets to the state tournament or the state championships. So again, be sure and check out the website, mainstreetmaury.com. Pick up this week's edition of Main Street Maury, the print edition, and be sure and see next week's as well. I'm Maurice Patton, sports editor at Main Street Maury. We'll see y'all next week.
From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is your weather on Main Street.
Happy Wednesday to you. I'm Kelly Rawson in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center. We have a few more clouds today compared to yesterday for southern middle Tennessee. Temperatures starting off in the 50s this morning will eventually make it up into the upper 70s to lower 80s. Today is going to be breezy at times, and I can't completely rule out a stray shower, but we should be mostly dry for today. Better rain chances, unfortunately, come tomorrow just in time for Halloween. But for the rest of today, again, mostly dry, partly cloudy. Temperatures fall back into the 60s into the evening and overnight. Temperatures for your Thursday starting off in the 60s, and then for the afternoon on Halloween, we are looking at widespread rain and storms, unfortunately. The good news, no severe weather expected, but this will put a damper on trick-or-treating plans, and that rain will continue into Friday morning. But the second half of Friday is looking dry. Temperatures a little bit cooler as well, thanks to that cold front moving through. But then for the rest of the weekend, we are going to be nice and dry, mostly sunny to partly cloudy. And don't forget to put back those clocks 1 hour Saturday night before you head to bed.
Well, that's it for this week on Mornings on Main Street. Make sure to get a copy of your local newspaper online or traditional newspaper so that you don't miss a minute of all the local coverage we've got lined up for you. For more information on subscribing to any of our local newspapers, visit mainstreetmediatn.com. That's mainstreetmediatn.com. And again, we want to thank you for trusting us as your source for local news, events, sports, and information. And good Lord willing, we'll be right back here next week on Mornings on Main Street, Southern Middle Tennessee.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily, as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
So, you want to be a part of the Busy Bee team, huh? Well, how do you see yourself fitting into the organization? Oh, I get it. You want to be a weather bee.
So Busy Bee is a very close-knit family. We fight just like every family does. We have arguments, but we always come out with a solution to the problems. We don't just fight about what we want, we fight about what customers need. We want to make sure that every customer we go to is more than satisfied. And that doesn't just start whenever we show up at their door, that starts when we show up every day at work. We want to make sure that we are serving our customers to the best of our ability.